Good evening, everybody. This is Linda, and we're just starting our Tuesday team training for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015. And we've got 5 or 6 people here having a little party here on the phone. And we'll take about a half an hour. And what I've planned to go through tonight is two things. You'll see, if you're looking at the computer screen, you'll see the homepage on my website. And I want to take you through a little tour of the Immunotec Resources that I put up recently, because there's quite a lot there, and I reorganized just so you know how to find it. And then I also want to do a little bit of focusing on XtraSharp and E-Motion, the two energy drink products, so you have a little more sense of what they are and why you might choose one or the other, and how to find some of the resources. So here is my personal website, and maybe someday I'll make an exclusive Immunotec site, but for now, when you go to my Energy Works website and you go to Services, and you go down to the bottom and it says Immunotec, Stronger, Healthier, and Smarter, and then over here there's 5 pages under Immunotec. The first one, Immunotec and Glutathione. I just clicked on that. There it is. I'm just going to very quickly show you what's here. So the top section, introductory websites, if you're talking to somebody who just needs a kind of overview. And the best thing I can describe, I just made tiny notes of what's in those sites. And you might want to look at them at some point and make your own notes on which site you like for what. So you'll know which site you'd like to recommend to somebody. These 4 documents, Getting Started Taking Immunical, those are the 4 documents I like to send to somebody when they're starting Immunical. Hello? Is somebody there? Oh, okay. Yeah, so those are all there, and they're, you can click here and up comes the document. They're all PDFs. And yes, is it coming? Things are kind of slow here. So there's my suggestions on how you use Immunical and Immunical Platinum and cautions and some recipes and dosages. If it's a child or a pet, what are the amounts? That's in that sheet. And getting started, that kind of thing. So there's that. And so those are all there. Feel free to use them. Articles and booklets, CPS. You'll hear us say, if you're going to go to a doctor, take the CPS article with you, because that's the thing that all the medical doctors in Canada know how to read. If you're in the States or you're working with someone in the U.S., have them bring the PDR article. And the rule of thumb is always you just ask the medical doctor, is there any reason I should not use this? And make sure they read it and read the contraindications, and based on that, they'll tell you, no, it's fine. Dr. Gutman's booklet, and I made a note here. In that booklet, if you're kind of new to the business and it's like, well, what is this stuff good for? As you look at that booklet, you'll see a number of health issues mentioned that glutathione helps with, which means Immunical helps with. And that's also true with the PDR. On the second page of the PDR, there's a paragraph that just lists off a whole bunch of different health concerns that glutathione can help with. And since we raise glutathione, we can help with those. So there's that stuff. There's a basic article for athletes, a couple books that you can get from Immunotec, and online recordings. This product testimonials, most of these things came from the Women's Call so far. And that's building up to be quite a library. And we've also got the recording of Kathy Ford. She's the gal who's on the cover of the Immunotec catalog, and also she's on the mixing video. And this is her testimonial about how the product is getting her back on her triathlete training. She couldn't train without it. So it's a lovely little testimonial, and it's very brief. And then some lectures. Keith Hooper is starting to put some of the lectures up on YouTube, and I just grabbed them and gave links to them here. Dr. Droga is one of our physicians. He's the man who developed the platinum. Dr. Bunos is here being interviewed by Molson. This last one, Jimmy Gutman lecturing on glutathione and Immunical at the Autism One conference. It's 45 minutes, 46 minutes long. It's a bit long, but it's a really, really good introduction to Immunocal and to glutathione. And he's kind of in good form at that lecture. It's very, very good. I recommend it highly. Any questions before I leave this page?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
The next page I'll show you, but I won't really go through. So this is for additional products, and tonight it's just all we've got up here is basically XtraSharp and Immunocal. We'll come back to that. Whoops, come on, behave yourself. Help me out here. Live support and training. So this first section, if you need to call somebody like myself or some of the other upline people or customer service, and you don't remember the phone numbers or the emails, you'll find them here. You'll see these email addresses written a little funny, like Linda S. Clark 88 at instead of the at sign, Gmail, because sometimes there'll be trolls that go around the web and harvest people's email addresses. And to avoid that, if you write it out like this, it just keeps the trolls from harvesting us. But when you write it in an actual email, you just write it like a normal email address. And then I listed the live conference calls that are happening these days, including the one we're doing right now. So those are there on the live training and support page, and Immunotec business skills. These are some websites introducing our business, and I put a couple stars next to this. If you've been around me at all, you've heard me say you got to listen to the Carl Wilson coaching session that he did, because I just think he's so helpful to give you an idea of how to talk to people about the products in the business, and to get us out of sales mode and get into education and helping mode. It's a beautiful conversation. It's not a high-tech recording. I just recorded with a little audio tape cassette machine off of my speakerphone, but it's pretty good quality and you can hear the information. The one thing to mention, this, I don't know why, someday I won't have to do this, but at the moment when you click here for the MP3, it goes to this page, and there's a link here that goes no place and a link here that goes no place, and this third link is the one that will take you to the recording. And someday I'll get to my web gal and see if we can make that simpler, but that's how that works. And the last page, generic network marketing. Network marketing is a business model, also known as MLM and multi-level marketing. Many people describe network marketing as a personal growth program with a compensation plan, because everybody has to grow in one way or another to really succeed in their business. The best people in the business advise us to devote at least 15 minutes each day to self-development. Network marketing is a business model, not a lottery ticket. As with any business model, there are best practices which lead to success. The following materials can contribute to your education and your success. And these are some of the websites that I have most appreciated. Dan, do you by any chance have the Eric Worre book, the GoPro book?
I do, yep.
When Janet's ready to read or look at something, you might want to lend that to her.
Sure.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. So that's the little overview. Now that, and this thing will probably be growing. If you didn't look at it for the last couple of weeks, you see I put it into 5 pages because that one page was just getting so long. It was unwieldy. So tried to sectionalize it a bit. So here on the More Products page, if you haven't found it already, when you go to the Immunotec site, on their home page, there's this whole video library. There's 5 new little videos on Immunocal. There's that interview again of Kathy, the mixing gal, that I also put the link in. Information on MyForm, the weight loss program. All the MyForm exercises are demonstrated here. And then there's a little video on emotion, which I think I won't show right now, but it's very brief, gives you a sense of what the E-Motion product is about, and a few other things down here. So there's that website. Now, so we've got XtraSharp and we've got E-Motion energy shots. And it's absolutely going to be confusing to people. Why would I do one or the other? XtraSharp has been on our product listing for quite a long time. And I am going over to this thing called the map sheet that some delightful distributor and consultant at some point made up to just be an overview of XtraSharp. So, as it says, it's all natural energy, XtraSharp. You can see it comes in both the regular one, which some people think is just this side of poisonous tasting, and then there's the 5 fruit-flavored one, which for some of us purists think tastes like cough syrup. So you have to decide if you like the one that's a little sweeter or just the regular old one. And you've got a list of what's in it, including... So the main ingredients are these herbs, and also 4 different minerals are included in that. And a little bit about what it does. Tonic, something your grandmother might have used. Action required, you take 1 or 2 tablespoons. If you're me, you take 2 teaspoons. Over that, I start getting jittery. There is guarana in this thing. That's one of the herbs. Guarana provides a very slow-release oil-based caffeine. So that's where the energy comes from. And it just tells you a little bit about what it does and that it's herbs and minerals. So there's that sheet just as a general reminder about what XtraSharp does. This right here, online testimonials about better energy using XtraSharp, and Keith, who is in our far up line, just put this thing up on the web recently. So 24 minutes of XtraSharp testimonials of people who've used it and what they noticed. This on beyond successful results. So a few years ago, when the XtraSharp product was newer, there were a lot of conference calls, people telling what they were using it for. So a whole bunch of people are using it for concentration, and people with ADD, ADHD are finding it helpful. A lot of people are finding it helps diminish their allergies. Both XtraSharp and E-Motion have a caution on the side that people with high blood pressure should be careful or even avoid these products. The truth of the matter is, or the truth of our experience is, there are many people on blood pressure medications who use XtraSharp, and they do have to be careful because over time they have to decrease their blood pressure medications, and they often get off them altogether. So
I did.
Did you? Okay.
I don't take the pressure pills.
Yeah. So the main caution is if you're taking blood pressure medications, be cautious that you don't end up overdosing yourself because your blood pressure normalizes. Emotional issues, especially bipolar stuff, and sometimes depression kinds of things. People get help with energy for sure, fibromyalgia in terms of energy and pain, headaches and migraines. Connie, do you want to speak to that one?
Yeah, it really helped with my migraines. Did you want me to tell my story?
Just quickly, sure.
I was at a point where I couldn't really take anything, and if I took it, I got a headache, and I wanted to go with my family for breakfast. So I thought, well, I'm going to try it. It'll kill me or cure me. And I think within about 15 or 20 minutes, I thought, I'm going to like this stuff. I felt better, and I went out to breakfast with my family.
Yay!
And
I know Wally's.
Yeah.
Nice. And you're sensitive to a lot of different stuff, so it's beautiful that you can use it.
Helps your sinuses too.
Nice. And I know Wally has said, he said if the migraine gets to be full blown for him, it can't necessarily get it, but he always knows when it's coming on, and if he makes sure he doses on his XtraSharp when it hasn't really set in yet, he doesn't get migraines anymore. So miscellaneous, we'll see. Skin. Now, there's some interesting things about skin, like I've had things like wasp stings or wasp bites, and I dab a little bit of XtraSharp on it, and the sting is gone. bizarre. But and I did it for another friend too. It's a gal who was painting outside the house one day, and she got stung, and we put a little drop or two of XtraSharp on it. Didn't hurt anymore. And the swelling went down. And sleep apnea. So we'll see. So, and then there are these little stories about who's used it. People using it for ADD, ADHD. One gal, XtraSharp gave her the ability to focus, multitask, and brainstorm problems. Man in his 60s gives him focus. So you know where to find these allergies. That's what you were saying, Connie. It helps with your runny noses and your sinuses. The blood pressure stuff.
I take it before I play games with my family so I can win.
Get edge.
That's why you're so hyped up when I come down.
Yeah. Next time I'm playing games with you, Dan.
Sid out in Las Vegas, he said he had been on Prozac and 8 or 10 other different drugs. Nothing helped his bipolar. He is off all the drugs. He's using Immunocal and XtraSharp, and it's leveled him out really nicely. Here's somebody else with major depression. So, Dan, we talked to that gal at the fair. She might like to know about this.
Right.
She's on Immunocal and XtraSharp twice a day. She's on an even keel. Here's a grandma raising a son who form of fetal alcohol. And that really helped him. Energy, people with fatigue, fibromyalgia. She had fibromyalgia for 4 years. Immunocal and XtraSharp twice a day, and helped her head come back. XtraSharp and the headache and the cramping was gone. All kinds of things about headaches. Bleeding gums. That's an interesting one. Somebody said that, so I wrote it down. Dr. Code, he's an anesthesiologist who we used to hear on a lot of calls. He said that neither Immunocal or XtraSharp interfere with any prescription medications. Tinnitus, XtraSharp has helped some people. Now, somebody's menopause symptoms, that's kind of uncommon. Here are the people with the skin stuff. Sleep apnea. I know several people who've used XtraSharp who used to use a CPAP machine, and now they use XtraSharp instead. And some of those sleep apnea people, they take XtraSharp and go to bed right away. Most people, if they take XtraSharp after 3 or 4 in the afternoon, they don't get to sleep till 3 or 4 in the morning. But the sleep apnea people tend to be able to use it any time. There was a gal that I worked with, here she is, one gal in Barrie. She was taking 1 ounce of XtraSharp in the morning. It gave her focus and energy for the day, and it also eliminated her sleep apnea at night. So,
my mother's got that problem too, and she happened to yesterday she took a bit of it, and she was actually able to cook me a meal when I got home.
Wow, she's doing so good, Danny, isn't she?
Wow, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've got a little library there of success stories on the XtraSharp. That's here on Beyond Energy, notes on variety of successful results. We looked at the map sheet, an overview including Nick Theodoro. He's a drug-free power. He started the Drug-Free Powerlifting Association. He used to be an industrial chemist. Now he's only an athletic coach. He's a man in his 50s. And this is just kind of an overview and includes some things about how the athletes might look at this product. So that's in there. Whoops, where's my sheet? No, not Carl. There it is. There's a list of ingredients. I won't go to that one right now. It's just a listing. And then these 2 sheets that XtraSharp passes the International Olympic Committee testing, and it also passes the WADA testing, which is another athlete testing standard. So the athletes can use it even before competitions. So any more comments or questions about XtraSharp before we move over to E-Motion?
I wanted to ask Linda, as far as the XtraSharp and application concerning sleep apnea, do you know if there was a build-up over a period of days or a week or anything like that, or was it almost instantaneous that it had an effect? Or
From what I know, it was pretty much instantaneous.
really? Okay.
Wasn't so much of a build-up, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And the other thing I just noticed a couple of different people said about taking both the Immunocal and the XtraSharp. So I guess we don't really know whether it was a combination of those things. I think that was in concerning bipolar and depression.
Yeah. Well, the bipolar, the Immunocal would be working with that just to really help brain function across the board. And I think that the XtraSharp is often especially helpful with things like thyroid issues and other endocrine gland issues.
Okay.
And I think that that's why the XtraSharp was additionally helpful, because it helps with that depressive, low thyroid kind of thing.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and one gal that I know, she was supposed to be on like Armour Thyroid, and she said, there's no way I'm going to take that stuff. It makes me feel dreadful. She's using XtraSharp instead, and she just doesn't need the thyroid meds. She is on Immunocal as well, but the Immunocal wasn't enough to eliminate the need for the thyroid support. The XtraSharp
like a booster almost.
Yeah, it was kind of boosting up the thyroid and the energy. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, E-Motion came out fairly recently. I'm not going to talk about the E-Motion energy gels because they are, I don't know if you noticed, they are going to take that product off the market. I guess there hasn't been enough use of it because it's kind of a more specialized thing for very active athletes who are really driving themselves. So if you know anybody like that who really wants the gels, they have to get them right away because once they sell out, they're gone. The E-Motions, the energy shots, they will stay on the market. Now we have these two articles again here that E-Motion has a Health Canada. Oh, this is a pretty interesting thing. I'll go down there. But first, I want to look at what Julie said. I had a chance, this was some years ago, to talk to this gal in Montreal, Julie Gorham, and she's a competitive triathlete, and she was talking about the E-Motion shots. So she said it has about the caffeine of a Starbucks coffee. The E-Motion is really just meant for energy. It doesn't do the headache things and the sleep apnea things and all those extra things that the XtraSharp does. But it does help a lot of people with energy, 7-8 hours of energy. And for her perception, she said there is no competition in the marketplace for this because it is an energy drink, but it's clean. It's not full of sugar and I don't even remember what's in those other energy drinks that can really be hard on the body. And this one doesn't have anything that's damaging. And it's also in just a little container, and it has a screw cap. So if you only want to use part of it, you use part of it and put the cap on and put it back in your pocket. Connie, do you have any comments about your guys using the E-Motion?
Well, I have a son that works 12 hours, sometimes longer shifts, and then he has to drive almost an hour both ways. So the shots are, just amazing for him. And he was on, I'd heard, some of the other drinks, I really wanted to get him off of them. And there's, it's good antioxidant in it too. So it's really nice to see him using the better shots. And my husband was working really long hours too, so he was taking them in the afternoon so he could finish work.
Nice.
So yeah, they're good, very good.
Okay, thanks. And the stuff tastes good for people who don't like the very herbal approach that XtraSharp gives. They usually like the taste of the E-Motion. Another thing Julie said, she said dentists often see tooth enamel being eaten away by a lot of the other energy drinks because they have so much sugar in them. So the dentists are happier when they see people using the E-Motion product. She basically says just for anybody who just needs an energy boost. And it's the Red Bulls and the other high-test energy products on the market have huge amounts of caffeine, sugar, and generally cause quite an energy crash, where you won't see the crash at the end of as emotion disappears out of your system, and 9 calories. And for now, I won't go over the gel since it is coming off the market. And then just that other little note here that XtraSharp offers a very different approach. Emotion products are simply for energy. XtraSharp has many more benefits for focus, blood vessels relaxing, oxygen to the brain, and headache relief, etc., which you guys already know quite a bit about. And you can watch the little video when you're so inclined. And, okay, this thing, Emotion has a Health Canada natural product number. And there is the document, looking very official and not very much fun to read. But it has things like adults can use 1 bottle 1 to 2 times a day, at least 3 to 4 hours apart. Don't take more than 2 bottles per day. At least that's the opinion of Health Canada, and they suggest taking it with food. I think people can experiment and do what they want. Helps with alertness, wakefulness, cognitive performance, helps to relieve fatigue, and to promote endurance and enhance motor performance, is what they have agreed to say about it. They have some cautions here. You might want to read these. And if you're talking to somebody who's taking lithium or antidepressants or blood thinners, tell them to be cautious. And that, like I said, high blood pressure, if they're on medication for high blood pressure, be careful that they, if this stuff starts reducing the blood pressure, then you start reducing the medication. And they also mention a couple natural things that sometimes there's conflict with. So because, well, I guess these things increase the blood pressure and I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So you can have a good look at these, and I think this is worth knowing. You don't want to take Emotion and coffee or other drinks that have caffeine because you're just going to overdo it. So it's in there, don't use with alcohol. And then they list some of the just the medicinal ingredients. I think there's a few other ingredients, but these are the ones that are the working ingredients. So there we are. Thank you, Health Canada. And Emotion also passes the drug testing for the athletes. So, and there's a little document about that here. So that is the story on the XtraSharp and the Emotion, and that's where you can find some of that information. Of course, you can always look at the Immunotec product listing on the website, and you'll find some information there as well. But this can be kind of your
library's getting really good, Linda.
Yeah, I'm kind of developing a nice one-stop shop here. You can find stuff. Thank you. Yeah, it's, after a while you just get sick for looking around. Where did I file that thing? So We'll just file it all here. Okay, so I am recording this. I usually have the recording available later tonight, and I'll do my best to get it up, and you know where you can find it. And I usually send out a little notice to the few people I think are quite interested, but otherwise, you'll find it. Where did I say you'll find it? You'll find it Immunocal, glutathione. Oh, your business skills. I think I put it under. Did I put it there? Dear me. There it is, the Team Training Archive. That's it. So we've got 4 so far, and this will be the 5th installment added to our archive. So, beautiful. I am going to end the recording unless anybody else has anything they'd like to add to this discussion.
One thing I would like to say about the E-Motion, I tried that probably 3 weeks now.
Okay.
My problem was at work. I work in Sawmill.
Oh, yeah.
Is I have a tendency by the time lunch rolls around 2:30, I'm trying to keep my eyes open, and then I'm fighting to get home, halfway home, the same issue. I took it at one of them at 10 o'clock, and I had no problem staying awake. I drove home with no issue, and because I'm assuming because I'm on also 2 packs of Immunocal a day, I didn't have to take any more since then. I'm probably thinking I'll probably have to take another one sometime this week anyways, but it actually lasted for me quite a bit, so
Wow.
it's almost immediate notice anyways.
Mhm. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you for that. I just had a little notice here that Karen's been listening in, so I'm glad she's here. Good. Anybody else? Any last comments or questions before we end our recording?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Supposing one is in good health and taking Immunocal 1 or 2 packets a day, does taking more than that do even more benefit, or is there a point at which one is wasting the product?
I'm sorry, would you just repeat that, Lawrence?
Sure. Supposing one is in good health and taking 1 or 2 Immunocal per day.
Right.
Is there any benefit to taking 3 or 4 if 2 did well? Would 3 or 4 do better?
I think it totally depends on how old you are, and if you're in good health and you're middle age or older, then 2 should be good just to keep you there. But a lot of times if you think, if you're going to be going on an airplane and you think you're going to be exposed to breathing everybody else's germs, you might want to take some extras. Or if you're I know I took a little extra after this weekend because I had a very, very busy weekend and I ended up really tired. And I said, I'm usually really bouncy, but I'm dragging my feet. And I do feel much better today for having taken an extra one for the last 2 nights.
Sure. But in terms of cognitive function, does one keep getting better the more we take, within reason?
I think you're going to have to experiment with that. Although, if you're saying cognitive function, if you're looking at a cognitive impairment of some sort that you're trying to do some repair or some real change or progress, then yes, you might want to take some extra.
I love
if you
the
feel
answer,
like,
thanks.
if you feel like you're as sharp as you've ever been, I don't think it would make you into Einstein. But if you feel like for some reason you're just not as sharp as you're used to being, yes, I think there might be a good reason to take extra.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Okay. So should we end for now? End the recording?
Sure.
Okay. So
I'm
feel free to stay on the line. I'm just going to stop the recording. And I do that by pushing this button.